So 2.0, working approval of the agenda. Have a couple of things here. I have a 3.5 resignation addition. A 4.2 employment of personnel addition. And then at 8.1 executive session for negotiations.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? All right. Consent agenda. Anybody have any questions?
Hang on just a second. What was that under? Oh, no,
That would have been a regular.
Yeah.
That's a regular agenda item.
Okay, yep, no questions.
No questions on the consent?
Motion, make the motion.
I'll second it.
Second. All right, all in favor? Opposed? All right. 4.1. Personnel, executive session. Need an executive session for personnel?
Yes, please.
All
20
right,
minutes.
20
20
minutes.
minutes.
Okay.
Oh, wait, do you want that long? Do you want that long?
Try 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
All
can.
right, 20 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Vice President, I move we go into executive session to discuss personnel pursuant to non-elected personnel exception under coma, and the open meeting will resume in the board room at 6:21 with Ms. Faithful present.
Motion,
I'll second it.
second, all in favor? Opposed?
Hear me yelling.
All right. On to 4.2, any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve 4.2 employment and personnel.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor? Opposed? All right. 5.0.
I gave them the night off.
For you, that's, they deserve.
I've never done that. I was like, don't you guys like it? I gave them the night off.
Yeah.
If you have questions, if you have questions for them, I can bring them to them. I can just say that, summer projects are going. If you guys drive out by the football field, the concrete's being laid. We're getting, we have a lot of gravel right now because we're removing gravel everywhere, so we should never have to buy gravel for a while. We've got some gravel piles everywhere. Buildings are getting painted. I went to the high school and it's a new color. It's kind of a grayish instead of the white, so it's a little more modern. Kyle walked me through today. We've got carpet being laid everywhere, Overbrook, Carbondale High School. Bettis should be here June 23rd to lay the new asphalt parking lot. Windows are not in yet. Those will be coming. I think all weights and conditioning's up and running this week at the high school and the middle school, so we've got people in and out of the buildings. I saw a ton of people already. Summer school at the high school has started, credit recovery. ESY is going on. Preschool back here's rearranging classrooms. We're kind of moving some people around a little bit. We're doing a ton of project work as AdCab. We meet every week in the summer on Tuesdays. So we've done a ton already. Working on handbooks right now, our crisis plan, getting our building needs assessments ready for you guys, looking at budget stuff. Personnel's all should be settled and ready to go for next year. You guys have questions about what's going on in the summer? It's busy, never shuts down, lights are on. No questions? Okay, all right.
6.1, we got outlay.
Yep, I was going to bring a couple of bids to you for HVAC control systems. However, I have put that project on pause to put out a new scope to vendors. I got two very different quotes back on those bids that were not apples to apples. And based on that huge discrepancy in cost on the two of them and what the project scope looked like, we have to make a decision on what scope we want to go with. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research with Greg and DCS, who did our facilities assessment, and I'm meeting with both vendors that quoted us to talk about the pros and cons of the two different suggested assessments on what we really need in our buildings for HVAC controls. One's more of a overhaul, and the other one's more of kind of a fix what we've got. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research and get a better scope to everybody and decide that that is an equitable scope for everybody, and they are voting on or bidding on exactly what the scope we want versus more generic, just controls and whatnot. So it needs to be a little bit more tailored to exactly what we want. So I will bring those to you. I'm meeting with one of them on Monday, and I just met with the other one this week. So I'll get those to you sooner than later, but I put that on pause until I can get, I didn't want to bring you something that I didn't feel confident in recommending with that discrepancy in price and project. Okay? Okay, all right.
7.1, food service addendum and program amendment.
You're up.
Agreement.
Agreement.
Let's do it. Amendment, my apologies, agreement.
Agreement.
It's an agreement, not amendment. My apologies.
The addendum with OPA is due yearly. Faith and I met with Jack to talk about some suggestions on adjusting the prices because they submit an idea to us, and we were going in thinking we're gonna be headstrong and ask for a decrease, and he presented us with a
Significant.
a really great amendment to our addendum.
Yeah, because they were gonna be around 4, and I said, we're not gonna do 4. And he came in at 2,
Cool.
so
So we were
Great.
like,
let's do it. I don't think we just had to say we're not doing that.
Try that again.
And Jack wants to take good care of us. He's an ex-superintendent and he understands our needs, and so, I appreciated him sitting down and negotiating with us, talking through our concerns. We brought some concerns to them about, areas of improvement that we want, but we also brought some compliments on things we thought were better this year. And I think they're willing to work with us on quite a few things to improve food service, so, and price point was much better, so.
yes. And I can sign the addendum, or Justin, if you would like to sign the addendum, either of us work. So it depends. If you are okay with me signing it, I'll sign it and send it back to OPA.
No concerns?
It doesn't need a board member to sign it? Okay.
And then the program agreement, we haven't had to redo our program agreement since 2019. So KSDE and Child Nutrition rewrote it. There were a few changes in there, but nothing that changes how we administer school year breakfast and lunch programs. They were mainly things like making sure you use the right forms with a non-discrimination statement. There were, I highlighted them just in case. They added a couple, like, refer to these different policies, like 7 CFR. They just made sure that you had a place to reference their agreements. So
We had to go look at like our federal procurement processes and our compliances and things like that. We already have policies in place for all of that. We just had to go kind of double check and make sure that everything that was in there, we already had. We called KSB about it and everything checked out, so.
So if that is good, I will send the program agreement back to KSDE for their approval.
Yep, so we just need a motion to approve
A motion to approve the addendum and the program.
the agreement.
I'll make the motion to approve
The,
the addendum and the agreement.
the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you.
Oh, and just another food service, I sent you an update about food service again today. The high school has a free site for anybody that literally drives by, wants to go eat lunch for free, can go eat lunch for free, so we're gonna put that back out.
Oh, I thought it's not
Just at
been,
the high school.
Just at the high school
Just at the
site.
free.
Just at the high school site, the other buildings are still gonna remain the same, I know, it's just royal. So,
Makes
we
sense.
just,
well, that only stinks because then kids can't walk
I know.
there.
Yes.
I know,
But
Really
whatever,
dangerous.
we'll take it.
we'll take one free site, so, for those that can get out there, great.
Yeah.
The parents can go out and pick it up, great.
You don't have to have the kids with you? Or
Um,
how does
if-
that work?
As long as I have like the parent guardian consent, that is fine. I just have to have that on file that the parents are picking up instead of the kids.
Where do they get that?
From me, and so they'll fill out like a little,
When they
if
come in,
they want to participate, and
when
if,
they come in,
and when they come in,
okay.
they will do all that with me.
Okay,
So if they show up, just the parents show up, they'll be
Yep.
able to sign off right there for her.
but what happens if parents work? And then,
Well, they just have to do it once, correct?
Yep.
right, but I'm still saying, like, we have a lot
To
of
pick
parents
it
that
up
work
during the
Monday
day.
through Friday, and maybe they're sending their daycare person to go pick it up.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you can't do that?
They put out a fact sheet about daycares.
Okay, so maybe I'm not talking daycare.
Okay.
They're high school kids watching the kids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like that would be.
Siblings, yes, that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Siblings
I'm
are fine, it's
babysitting
another
some
kid,
kids
right?
this summer and I
Yeah.
can pick up their food.
Right, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
So if Stephanie was to
But the
pick up,
parent has
Go
to go
ahead.
in
You
and
wanna talk
fill
about
out the form
daycares?
first.
No, can you tell me what the service is?
Summer food service program
Yeah.
at the high school is free meals to any child 1 to 18,
One, that's,
ages 1 to 18.
okay,
So you can go to high school and get free food.
okay, and
Through the
is
south side.
there a time period,
That's what I want.
9 to 10.
9 to 10?
9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Very
And it's a
convenient time.
unit, it's a breakfast and a lunch at the same time.
Okay,
I feel like
I'll
we
put
need to
that
revise.
in.
If you got a 1-year-old, you can bring a 1-year-old.
We have to raise the kids.
I'll give it.
You don't.
Just get a wood go around.
Unless you're gonna claim you're 17.
Yeah.
We've done it for years. They've done it for years. It's been free for years, but this year it's still free if you meet the free and reduced lunch prices, but everyone else has to pay $6. But it's
Breakfast
lunch and breakfast.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're, anybody ages 1 through 18 gets a free meal between 10
From 9.
9 to 10.
At the high school.
At the high school.
only.
at the high school, okay,
But at Carbondale and Scranton, you gotta pay $6 at Carbondale and Scranton if you don't meet free and reduced lunch prices.
So don't even mention the other schools.
Yeah, don't even
Just-
touch it. The free baseline at the high school.
Yeah, free at the high school.
Yeah, that's the important one.
okay.
If anyone's hungry, go to the high school.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
I heard free meals and then everything else.
Tasha, I did have one question. So like I'm signed up to pick up at Carbondale. Like, could I pick up at the high school or would I have to tell you to, I
No,
need to
You can
change?
pick up
Oh,
because
okay.
you're already in our spreadsheet. They just have, it populates your name as soon as you tell them.
Oh, so like I could even go to Overbrook and pick it up?
You go anywhere.
I thought I had to go to
No.
Carbondale and 9 to 10 is such an inconvenient time. So I
Well,
was
that's why
literally in
you weren't
Overbrook
upset
this
about that.
morning and I'm like, well, I can't get food
She's like,
here. I
this
gotta
is- and maybe
go
I
back.
should have clarified that in our interest survey. I just sent that survey out so that the kitchen managers had an idea of how many meals to prepare.
Oh, yeah,
So,
for sure.
We don't have lunch.
And
But
it's just for people within the district.
nope.
No.
If you're driving down the road and you're from Alaska and you saw the free meal sign at
Do
San
we have a free
High
meal
School,
sign out in the?
I just
been,
got big
Kylie, we've
flags
been
and
doing this for
banners to put
years.
up front.
We're gonna put banners out.
I didn't know that was a minimum of the strike.
Yeah, anyone
Yes.
can.
Yes.
And they sign up
How many patients I get?
They
Yeah,
sign up.
only-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone.
And maybe our participation will go up if the guys from Alaska stop by.
Hey. Driving through.
That's right.
Uh,
Okay, free, very good.
Thank you, Tasha.
Tasha.
Food service director.
District food service.
Right, 7.2, band instrument rental fee, Ms. Rice.
Do they have?
Yes.
Okay, and did you guys see the long contract too that we use? Awesome. Okay,
Oh, yeah, yes, that was on there.
Yeah.
yeah, so we kind of started,
Just to keep it close.
we started this talk well over a year ago, didn't we think, last spring?
Yeah.
And we just weren't ready to do it for the last school year, we wanted to figure out some things. So we're kind of in a unique situation where we're trying to help, because we spend about $10,000 every summer on just instrument maintenance and what we send in for the school. Yeah. So, but kind of out of that 10,000, so like this summer, we sent in 129 school-owned instruments. So that's roughly how many students out of the 306 use school-owned equipment. So we wanted to kind of help out with that, and then it also kind of put some skin in the game. So, but we've never had anything like this, but most schools actually do. And but we don't want it to be where it hinders someone like, well, I can't do band now because I can't afford it. So we want to do like a sliding scale that goes with the free and reduced lunch. So if you use a school-owned equipment, and this would be like through the whole year. So if you're like, I don't own an instrument at all, I need to rent a trumpet for the year, it would be $40. But if they're on the reduced lunch, then it'd be $20, and then free, it'd be free. And they'd still fill out the contract part too. But then like, if this fee would not apply to students like, I own my flute and I broke, so it's gotta go in the shop, can I borrow a school flute till it's fixed? That fee wouldn't apply to them because it's a temporary thing, so it'd just be for the ones that have to use it for the school year. Kind of gets them some skin in the game, because their kids, some carelessness happens sometimes, and where the parents are like, hey, we gotta take care of this a little bit more and stuff too. But that's kind of,
And I kind of look at it, you know, it's like curriculum, but it's ongoing every year, and so it's a little bit different of a cost on the district, just because, and like she said though, we don't want a deterrent here, so I wanted you guys to discuss it, think about it. I know fees are things we have to kind of balance with students in school. But I look at it similar to like a technology fee.
That's what I was just.
That's
what I was thinking, yeah, the
To
computers.
take care of our equipment. I like this, they proposed the sliding scale, which I thought was good. But I wanted you guys to discuss it a little bit, because I know we'll have more fees coming up, so if you approve this tonight, I'll add it to the big fees list that I give you in July with lunch, technology enrollment and everything, we'll add it. If not, then we won't add it, so.
So I went to the meeting, I don't remember what it was, I'm sorry, about
Oh.
my daughter will be entering 5th grade.
Yeah,
And this wasn't talked about at all in terms of like getting a musical instrument from the school. Is this open to everybody, 5th
Yes.
through 12th? How do we
Yes.
determine who gets them? Do we have more than enough instruments?
so, yes, we're good on instruments, and this is just like the upkeep. So obviously, we are not asking any kid to go out and buy a tuba, because that is $10,000 in itself. So that would apply to like all my high school kids, or my 7th and 8th graders that play tuba. They use a school instrument, they use tuba all the time. So for like my 5th and 6th graders that are beginning, how we present that to them is if there's any financial like nervousness, like unsure at those instrument nights, to come talk to me, or Bob will be the other director too, so we can get an idea and be like, we can guide you to buy a used instrument offline, or if it's like there's no way, then that's when you're like, okay, we have some school instruments
Okay.
that we can do. But we try to see what we do, because we're good right now, but if everyone's like, well, since my kid's a 5th grader, I really don't wanna buy.
Right, I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of where I
yeah.
was going with that, is like,
Yeah.
it would be lovely to not have to buy
I've experienced this, and until you
Yeah.
really wanna know if your kid's really gonna stick with the
Yep.
clarinet,
for a mat.
yep,
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
rent it.
Did-
Just rent it, or buy a used one, or
But-
borrow, or.
Right, but what I'm saying is that the renting is $40 a month versus $40
No,
a
a
year.
year.
Right,
The-
but I'm saying
rent
if you're
them.
renting from, what was that place called? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh,
Music.
that place,
Yes,
Manning.
sorry.
Yeah,
I thought
Manning
Manning.
Music, that's $40 a month versus if we have instruments laying around that I can pay $40 a year for, I would obviously much rather
Yes.
pay the $40 a
Right.
year.
So she can put this out to all those parents too, so they know when we do enrollment.
Right, but that was my question, is how are we fielding that? And
Do we have enough?
Coming and
Contact
talking
all the
to
kids that
us.
just graduated and see what they got.
Yeah, because then
We
like,
might have a clarinet line, right?
Is your concern that people don't know this yet?
my concern is, I guess I don't even know if it's a concern. It's one, people don't know, but
Right.
two, I'm the 5th grade parent that my daughter thinks she wants to play trombone.
Sure.
I don't wanna invest in one if I don't know what the heck she doesn't know what the heck she's gonna do,
Yeah.
okay? And I also don't wanna spend $40 a month if I can spend $40 a year.
Yes.
the
you
only
know.
thing with this too is, yes, like, we have plenty of instruments, but out of our program that had 306 this past year, it is always nice, we try to keep 1 or 2 not checked out for
Sure.
when that kid's instrument breaks.
Right.
So for example, like, cause I know this, cause I just counted the other day, for flutes. This year I had roughly 50 flute players total from 5th through high school. The school only has 20 flutes. So if I have a bunch of flute players come in like, we really don't like, so then that's why we always say come have an individual conversation with us on need, what is your individual financial situation and how can we help? Cause we also know the kids that graduate are like, I'm never gonna play this thing again. So we have a lot of connections on setting them up for cheap instruments that way. Like, I just wanna get rid of it. We
Yep.
talked the other day. I just wanna get rid of this thing, I think.
So we could put together an informational form for parents. I've got one for my daughter in 5th
Mhm.
grade or when she went to 5th grade, and the same thing, same questions, but it gave you kind of those options on what we can do. Do you push, so if you've got 50 kids that wanna do flute, do you let them all 50 do flute, or do you try to say, let's try the clarinet, or let's try the
Well, that almost never,
saxophone? No,
that almost never happens. There are few, but like, we don't really, it's just really knows that beginning class, 5th grade. It normally evens itself out. Because like, this year's 5th grade group, I had a heck of a bunch of trombone players, heck of a bunch in this 5th grade group that's now going to 6th grade, and extremely little clarinets. I only had 6 clarinets in that 5th grade class that had 57 in it. But in this 8th grade class that's now going into the high school, I had like 15 clarinets. So I'm gonna have 30 clarinets in high school next year. So everything kind of, there might be a small instrument interest in one class, but it kind of evens itself out over time. But it's keeping the big picture too of, yes, I might only have 6 clarinets in 5th grade, but I have 30 in the high school, and the instruments are used from 5th through high school. So keeping, I only have about 20 school clarinets too. So keeping those things in mind.
So you've already had to manage the ones you can use at the school and
Yeah.
the ones that you don't have enough.
Oh yeah.
So you've already been managing that regardless
Oh, yeah,
of
and
what they cost. and
typically-
availability
More of the instruments are, school-owned instruments are checked out in that junior high. And then once
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm sticking with it, then they kind of, most of them end up with their own,
Mhm.
normally by about 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot are checked out to 5th and 6th graders.
Maybe that message is
Just
rent
no
unless money's the barrier, and then at that point.
Well, even then, I feel like we have them.
Well, if we have them,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
Yeah.
as soon as you say, in my opinion, that, hey, it's $40 a year, come talk to us, then
Yep.
you've got 57 5th graders looking to rent or borrow, not rent.
Yeah.
And that's where it's tough, because I agree, and.
I mean, I feel like before, though, we've
Lost
just
for gentlemen.
Given them.
always given it to them for free. I mean, we've always done this, we've just never charged.
Right.
Correct, but the difference is the incoming class, the loaners weren't all given to.
Do we have loaners, did we have quite a few loaners that sat on shelves and weren't being used? No, they were pretty well all,
This was kind of the weird, this is probably the year that we checked out the least amount of flutes. So I had about 4 flutes that didn't get used at all, which was odd. That was a weird year, but every school clarinet was used at some point. Whether it was checked out for an entire school year to a kid, or if it was, hey, my instrument broke, do you have something I can borrow? There, and then by the time the instrument's fixed, someone else's has broken and I pass it off to them.
I do think a lot of families also, like, if their kids are real serious about band, they want their own. and
yeah, I
they'll
do
know
too,
their own.
but
Yeah,
It's just figuring out what.
Yeah.
yeah, what they're real
what they
serious
want.
about.
Yeah.
it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's hard, and
Especially
they,
when they're little.
especially at that junior high age, they live very much in the right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah,
have
some
some
like-
friends
some
do
like
it.
spicy
Exactly,
Yeah.
what's my friend?
That's my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you gonna play?
Yeah, no, I get it, yeah. You feel confident navigating all that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing that all year.
That's gonna, yeah, I think that's a good.
I do
good
think it
there.
would be a good idea to put it out again to parents,
Sure, we could put together like an information.
but I feel like this maybe holds some people a little bit more responsible.
Sure.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why we haven't been doing this before. I mean,
it's not a lot, I mean, but I agree that people can't pay for it, I don't want that to be a.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted the sliding scale,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there are some that be like, that's a lot on top of all the other fees.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want this to stop you from
No,
being
Absolutely.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our biggest fear that we talked a lot about was,
Right.
we think it was a great idea to help out with things, especially how big of a program it is and how expensive summer maintenance gets on stuff, but
And maybe that's why in the past we didn't, cause, you know, we
We
just
thought
got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and never went really back to it,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
no, it's more than fair, I think.
yeah, no, I agree. I'm good with it.
Is that a motion?
I mean, yeah, can we vote on it right now? I mean,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
motion to approve the rental fees, the sliding scale on insurance.
Motion, second, in favor? Opposed? Thank you,
Yeah,
Ms. Ruth.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good job.
23 district budget.
Okay, I just need you guys to approve our closeout for the 24-25 fiscal budget year. We are finishing all necessary completed transfers. We will zero out the general and supplemental funds. All our balances then will be our cash carryover for next year, and I can get you some finalizations on those once we get things all closed out. I have shut down spending except for essential spending, so no E-Recs are coming in right now. I told everybody quit buying things, so we just essential things right now, paying our bills. No, new office chairs or anything, so. So I just need you guys to approve that, and then I will bring you the, budget proposal later this summer with the building needs assessment, state assessment review. I'll get those to you at the next meeting so you can review them, and then we'll likely adopt in August. Okay? Greenbush will be here as always to their good second set of eyes always to look at our budget development. So when Kaylee and I go through and we build it, and we are talking about all the lines and where we're putting money, they will come and check things out again, and they will bring you a budget. But we should have some good healthy cash carryover for next year.
You guys need a motion?
You just need to approve that we're gonna close it out, just a motion to.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve that we will close it out. You will close it out. Second it.
In favor? Opposed? Alright, 7.4. Line-wide cybersecurity.
Right, Mr. Lohmeyer is recommending instead of a 1-year renewal on our cybersecurity content filter things, encompasses a lot of things, that we do a 3-year to save a little bit money. He's very pleased with the program, and I'll let him answer questions that you might have about it, but it exceeds $20,000 to do the 3-year. So you guys need to approve it, so we can do a 3-year versus a 1-year.
What was the 1 year?
Go ahead.
You remember?
I could look it up.
It's okay.
But the real savings is every year since I've done 2 of these now, and it's gone up $1,500 each year.
Okay.
And this it saves those,
Locks it in.
it locks that in for those next 2 years.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, makes sense.
wasn't a whole lot of savings year 1, but it's just the next couple of years forecasting out.
This is the one that like the teachers can click a button and see what the kids are doing
Yeah,
on
so
there.
it does both. It's your content filter, enforcing SIPA, keeping them off of the things that we don't
Yeah.
want them on. But then it allows the teachers to see their Chromebooks, and then the
Yeah.
benefit to this one is we can kind of lock things down, but then allow teachers to override the content filter in certain categories. So if they want them to do something like, say, games for that block, then they can allow that.
Yeah.
Gives a lot more flexibility than any other one I've ever used, so.
Any other questions for Andy or Tim?
The motion to approve the 3-year renewal.
Motion, we have a second?
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor? Opposed? Right. 7.5, ASB policy updates. Ellie, do you have any questions?
I would like to pull, is it KM, is that the name of the policy? Just primarily because I have more questions on a particular area of that with visitors to the school.
Gotcha. I am going to the school law conference tomorrow, and Amy and I will friendly reminder our KSB attorneys that we need some clarification on law enforcement entering the building, off-duty officers, and that process of identifying who they are and concealing and carrying. I'll get some clarification on what that really means, the language in here, and because this is a law, is there anything we can even change in this language or not? So I'll get some clarification on that for you.
Okay.
And I'll bring it in July.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Anybody else have any other questions on those? Motion with the exception of KM?
We have to approve it?
Yes.
even though it's all
You can
law?
approve everything but KM for
Okay,
at the moment. I think that's fine. I mean, it's in effect, is this a July 1? I think we'll be okay. I mean, law still exists, it's school policy, so
school's not in session.
yeah, we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll get it in July at the meeting. Clarification, unless you guys wanna go ahead and do it.
No, I,
So I make a motion to approve the KSB policy update without KM.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, not a question. Motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you for finding that out for us. Appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Steering committee update. Looks like Shmuley's the only one here to talk through that. What do you?
We're cool seeing you there, Mr. Vice President. Yeah, so we had our first steering committee last month. I thought we had a really good turnout. There was a lot of the business teachers, staff, just community members, parents, everybody. The main thing that we kind of focused on then was to kind of update everybody, you know, they hadn't been tuning into the board meetings, kind of where HGK, kind of some of the designs that they came up with, kind of the things that we had already went through as a board. So just kind of getting everybody up to speed on that, kind of why was the big kind of focus on why we're doing this and moving forward and trying to push forward with it.
Three things I wrote down. She said if you remember anything, the why.
The why,
Declining
yes, I
enrollment.
had that in there, the
Okay.
why.
Declining enrollment,
Yeah.
facility maintenance,
Yeah.
and then like the continuation of care, continuity, culture of building, student
Yeah.
transitions.
Did you get any feel for how the community felt?
Amy actually wrote down a ton of questions that they, I actually have that people asked during the meeting, and since she's not here,
A lot of
A
engagement,
lot
but
of-
it was
a lot of
super early,
engagement.
so it wasn't
Yeah.
like, oh, we're
A
gonna,
lot
this is the plan we
yeah,
want, it's
right.
plan A or plan B, it was more just what is.
A lot of transparency about this,
Why?
nothing has been decided,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
nothing's been.
Okay.
and then our next meeting will cover finances.
So there was a lot of questions about
Yes.
finances and things.
And we really want to spend a whole meeting on money.
Mhm.
Not only just what one of those projects will cost, but also cost savings and current expenses that we have in the operations that we're still doing and how we can be more efficient. So I think it's important for them to understand both the implications of declining enrollment and losing that revenue and still maintaining the same operations. I made it clear, I showed them the trend data, because I had a really good question, like, how do you really know
Right.
that our enrollment's not gonna go up? And I said, well, I don't have a crystal ball to determine that. I go, but I do have 30 years of data that shows me we're not going up to a level that sustains our current operations. We are down 400 kids in almost 30 years. That's an extreme amount of loss of revenue, and we're still operating the same way. 4 buildings, we're still busing all over the place, we still have 3 kitchens. I know over time we've decreased in personnel, things like that. I know they did that back in 2009, 2016. I've absorbed some staff this year, but overall, the operations outside of personnel are essentially the same. So we just talked about how we could look at cost savings at our next meeting on down the road, if we could kind of condense what we're doing here, how we could save some money. So we'll spend a whole day on that, and Piper Sandler will be there. And Clayton does a good job kind of breaking down some of those things for us, so.
What was the thought about having more than 3 board members there?
Well, we have to call a meeting, so if you guys want to do that, yeah.
What was the thought about? Trying to rotate, or you guys wanna go back again, or?
The thought was to keep it consistent, I think, just so we don't have a different person each time, but in the same breath, I'm not opposed to calling a special meeting either. The difference is then it's a special meeting and it's show people show up, which is fine, but if the steering committee is to remain steering
Right.
committee, then it would be a smaller deal, right?
Yeah, we did solidify the 3rd Thursday of the month as our meeting dates. I did put some meeting norms in place and some meeting work agreements. Like we have homework we have to do, so everybody's supposed to fill out that survey. I only have 16 people that have filled it out, so I'm gonna send it back out this week and say I need everybody to fill it out. I don't know if you guys all filled it out, but I'll send it back out to.
Us too?
Oh, you meant us too? So I told him, I go, we will have homework as a steering committee. I may need you to do some things for us or fill out some things or whatever. Norms about how we're going to be here to learn. We're gonna hear lots of different perspectives you may not agree with, but we all have different experiences at Santa Fe Trail, and those all bring a new lens to this group, and everybody needs to listen and be thoughtful and respectful of each other's opinions. So we just kind of put together those things just on our first meeting to get everybody to understand why we're here, and that we value everybody that's on the committee, and they're dedicating a night a month to do this for our community and our school district. So you guys decide. I don't care how you want to do it. If you want to call board meetings, we can. If you want to just do 3, so it doesn't have to be a formal meeting.
I almost, just being at one now, I almost like it's more laid back. It's not so, and it's not that it's not structured. I thought it was structured and everything, but I mean, and I want it to be about the community, those kind
And
of
not
people
the
that are
board.
not, and not so much about the board.
Me too. My thought would be you keep with the 3, and if somebody can't make it, maybe somebody fills in.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
then you have that continuity and the same people that are hearing that information or feedback from them.
Yeah. And I did say that one of our work agreements is that the board members and myself would always report to the board. So I will put an agenda item on every meeting that we talk about, the steering committee meetings. And then I will push out something to the community. And then Andy created a fantastic website
Yeah.
where we're gonna host all the documents we share. It's right on the front homepage of the website, Gary, where it says reconfiguration documents right here. Go ahead and put that in your paper. And they could go on there, and there's an AI section, and the AI section will do podcasts for you of our board meeting briefings. And then we have a chat bot now that you can ask questions to based on all the documents that we upload. It will go through all the documents. You can say, why is Santa Fe Trail reconfiguring? And it will give you the 3 reasons from all the documents we put in there and answer their questions for them, so they don't have to wait on me to answer them. And it's AI, so it's not perfect, love that.
Yes.
But it will help us kind of efficiently let the public know what's going on,
Okay,
so they can engage with the steering committee even though they're not there.
okay, we'll talk about this.
Okay, sounds good.
August 19th is the first day of school. So-
21st.
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 Okay, and that's
Yeah.
the third day. I
Yeah,
remember
so
that
it's-
one. That was the note that I had, is August may not be the third Thursday.
So our
Not
next
the
steering
19th.
committee meeting is the 19th,
19.
next
That's right.
Thursday, next Thursday. So we'll plan on then Michelle, Justin, and Amy again?
Yeah.
Okay? Do you want me to read you the quick questions that people asked?
So is this available? Are we recording those?
No.
No, okay.
No,
Alright.
and I'm also no longer gonna allow people to join virtually. It's too big of a pain, and I really want people to be in person and engaging with their constituents so that they are all
Yes.
chatting and at a table, and because I had so many people wanting to join virtually, and we tried it, and then someone came in like a half hour late, I didn't get to it, I missed it, and I felt terrible, but I didn't see it because I was out
Right.
Right.
presenting and
What- doing what
talking.
you should be doing.
2 were on, and so they heard and they listened and they thanked me and whatnot. I just said for the future, we'd really like people to come in person.
Yeah.
So,
The only thing is, no, I mean, I feel like we can't go.
We
I
can't,
can't
we're
go.
relying on them to
Yeah.
relay the information.
Oh, like yeah.
Mhm. I understand what you're saying. I just feel like.
I know, it just,
It did feel different.
it would
You're
feel
right.
different.
It feels,
I just,
but, I don't know.
I feel like then it would just be a board thing again, like, you know what I mean, and it's not that I don't think we should all get to be there, I just,
Oh, we can't if we don't.
yeah, we can't.
And then they really didn't even feel like board members. They felt like community
Right,
members
right.
as well
Yeah,
as
I
board
kind of-
members, you know? They got to be a
Outside
parent
production.
perspective
Yeah.
And outside reductions, I think we were intentionally quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we get to talk a lot here,
Mhm.
and, you know, get to talk a lot about it, so it's nice to hear other people's, and I just think if it's more of a board setup at those meetings, I don't know if people will feel comfortable.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a board setup, it could still be like
I know,
I just wanna
don't-
come and I can't.
out in the middle of nowhere, but just record it, or
Do
middle
we
of nowhere, like
wanna
at the high school.
see, I mean, we could talk next July meeting, and just say, okay, we've done kind of the why, the what options, not saying those were limited to those options, but just what options were presented to us. And then we talk finances, and then maybe next board meeting, we say, hey, as a board, do we wanna open these up? And then try it, or what? I mean, I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
I think
yeah,
when Tanner
I
and
just-
Amy are back, maybe we ask.
Would you like to record them? I worry if we record them, people are gonna be hesitant to talk, but maybe not, I don't know, it's
I
up to
don't
you.
even, most of the time, even think about being recorded, you know what I'm
No,
saying?
no.
So,
It's up to
Well,
you.
but I think there's reason for pause there, right? I mean, if I feel like I'm asked a dumb question, I'm probably less likely to ask that dumb question if it's
Right,
recorded,
I agree.
right?
I guess, yeah.
But maybe if we have somebody taking notes,
I ask all the dumb questions.
we can,
I could have someone take minutes. I could just
I
have
think
a,
that's valuable for
I
us
bet
to look
Amy would
back
do
on
it for
too.
me. She was already taking all these, she wrote down all these questions and
Mhm.
tried to take notes, so we could do kind of some more formal minutes.
I think that would be very helpful,
Okay.
so then everybody can
I
know
like
what's.
the idea, but I'm not gonna volunteer somebody to know.
I bet I can get Amy to, she's a fast typer,
Cool.
so I bet she would do it for me, if
We'll
not,
throw out there is a very good AI note-taking tool
Yeah.
where you just tie
Oh, that
it to
would
a
be
phone, microphone, and
Uh-huh.
it just, I mean, it's really good.
College
stay with us all
people,
the time.
college people, there you go.
That's right, I want the cliff notes.
okay, we will do,
I get where you're
we'll do
saying,
a minutes,
like,
minute by
I'm
minute
good
type of.
missing like the first few meetings, I think, because it's just more
Let's talk
informative,
next meeting
but
if we-
eventually, yeah,
Yeah,
I'd like
this
to
is
be.
honestly, this is
eventually I would
stuff
like
that
to go
we've
too,
been covering in a
because-
board meeting, and like,
right,
I don't wanna exclude anybody, I just
No,
don't want, I just
yeah.
don't want other
Divide
people
the
to
team.
feel.
So we'll
I bet if you give it a chance, Michelle might miss a meeting and you can go in her spot.
Absolutely, probably.
She's a busy mom.
Awesome. Any questions on Michelle's update?
That's amazing, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, then, Danny, can you get that amazing comment?
Yeah.
8.1. How much time did we need for negotiations?
Not much. 10?
20?
15.
15. 15 minutes.
Mr. Vice President, I move we go into executive session to discuss negotiations pursuant to the exception for employee negotiations under COMA, and the open meeting will resume in the board meeting, or in the boardroom at 7:18 with Dave Flory present.
Motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed? 7:18? Give us 8 minutes, 7:26, please. Motion.
Second.
Tanner was there, okay, I'll do it. We went to, Three Lakes Board meeting on Monday and discussed some budgetary concerns, with the assessment proposal that we're getting this year. We discussed a solution for problem solving to get those numbers down, with some, staff changes, doing a hiring freeze, and then, a 3-year plan to backfill her contingency fund and her cash flow, which essentially, I don't wanna confuse that contingency fund with the way ours works. Ours is very different. Theirs is more like cash flow that they use to backfill payroll based on their disbursement schedule that they get their money in. So they run through that to make payroll in those off months. She's working with Greenbush to get some things clarified and to fix some issues with her revenue and her expenses, of course. We will have a significant increase in our assessment, but we will get a little bit of a reimbursement on that, so we're gonna expect probably, $250,000 to $300,000 increase on our assessment after the reimbursements come in. It's a big jump. But she's gotta come up with a plan, to make this sustainable. This is not as hard for us as it is some of our smaller districts in the co-op, so those are the concerns that we have, but, we're working on a plan to improve this and make things better. We're also gonna do a research study on how to kind of do the programming different with paying staff, and how that flow through works with each district. So we'll do some research to see if there's some better options on how to kind of manage the payroll costs that she has. Questions?
No, but I just wanted to say that personally, I'm very thankful for Jamie being on the board and for being able to go to these meetings as well, and her knowledge in SPED and able to ask those hard questions that, I mean, I definitely wouldn't know what to ask in those meetings, so.
Yeah.
Just
Tanner
much appreciated,
went
and
last night
Tanner-
too, and he asked some good questions. I think it was helpful that superintendents were there on Monday to kind of help guide our concerns, because, we don't go to those meetings, and so we'll try to attend those as well, so we can help support the board.
I feel like that
As
will be
well.
helpful, because then we kind of know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a more team approach to it will be good.
Yes.
Any questions?
Oh my God.
We're adjourned.